Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. I hope you're well. I apologise if you can hear some noise in the background. I've got some builders here doing some work on the house. Hopefully it's not too bothersome. Last week I presented two versions of the same vlog. One was with music, which is how I normally present my vlogs, and the other one was just allowing you to hear the bird song and the noise of the brush on the canvas and things like that, and so you can get a sense of what it's like to actually be in the studio. And so far the version with music has been watched more than the other one. That could just be an algorithm thing, but I'm going to take it that you prefer the music to be added, so that's what I will do going forward. I would love to share with you what I've been doing painting wise in the studio, and I will in a moment. First of all, I want to show you a purchase that I wasn't actually sure would arrive because I ordered it via a Danish gallery. There's an exhibition by one of my favourite artists that she's having over there, and also she's got some work showing in the Wallace collection, which I believe is in a British gallery. So you could go online and chase those up. But I decided to order. I've been looking at her work a lot, and it's really hard to get a sense of it on a small screen. So I really wanted to have some sort of tangible imagery of her work. So I ordered this catalogue, and of course the website was all in Danish. So I navigated all through the order form, pretending I could understand Danish or whatever language it was. And, you know, it kind of made sense. It's, you know, it followed through like a normal order form that I've done 1,000 times. So I went ahead. It ended up costing me as much to post it as the actual catalogue cost, but I didn't care. I wanted it, but I wasn't even sure whether it would come. And of course the emails that arrived to say we've received your order and we've posted your order were all again in another language. And so I just wasn't really sure whether it would arrive. And it obviously spent a little while in customs because it went through a biosecurity check. I noticed that the parcel had been opened and that there was a note in there to say that it had been opened for biosecurity. I don't know what they thought in the x-ray machine they were looking at, but this is the actual book, and there's the artist. I'm not going to pretend I can pronounce her second name, but her first name's Flora. And this is, you can see, oh, that's a poster. Oh my gosh. How cool is this? Oh, wow. That is awesome. What a great thing to do for a cover. So yeah, I think you can see why I like her work. If you're looking her up, she is on Instagram, and the exhibition is called Into the Woods. What she does, I'll just keep the cover off for now. You might be able to read her name better there. What she does is, her favourite artists are Boucher and Fragonard, who I think they're both French artists, the 18th century, and I absolutely love Boucher as well. And she takes their paintings, let's see if I can find, as a reference, and then reinterprets them in a new way, often with the same colour palette, but then also often introducing more modern colours. So it's a visual and technical reinterpretation of their work. Oh, look at that. And she's just so amazing. And I'm just so inspired by her work. And you can see perhaps there, so they're quite abstracted, but there's a figure there and there's a figure in here, if you can catch that. I might do some stills so you can see the imagery a bit better. I wonder if this has got any, Oh, good, it's got some English. There's Flora herself. And so back when I was at uni, I fell in love with a particular painting called The Birth of Venus by Cabanel. And his version, I just absolutely love his painting of that many-covered subject. And I had a textbook that's got a small black and white image of that piece, and I fell in love with it, and I painted it over and over and over. And I was trying to figure out, how could I paint like that, or how could I have cupids in my work, and how can I do my version of that type of painting? And I never figured it out, but Flora has. So it's another reason why I wish I had been able to figure it out as well as Flora has. I did manage to get a couple of cupids in my work. If I can find the images, I'll put them on the screen now. But yeah, do look Flora up. She's absolutely amazing. I did actually get to see The Birth of Venus by Cabanel in the real in Paris. I went on a wonderful trip of a lifetime to France back in 2017. And the way I researched the trip was I looked up all my favourite paintings and where they were in Europe, and they all happened to be in France, which is why we focused on France. And I went around basically chasing my favourite paintings. And wow, seeing something from a small black and white in a textbook to seeing the real thing on the wall, it was the most incredible experience. And I've been reading recently, I think it was a Dutch company have done studies about the dopamine levels increasing when you're viewing work, and it increases even further when you're in front of the original. And that certainly happened for me in the Museum d'Orsay, seeing this painting, the brush strokes and the delicacy, and there was so much more in it that I couldn't see in a textbook. And so I've been looking at Flora's work on her Instagram and online, and of course it's just not the same as having, now this, I can't get to Denmark and I can't get to Britain. So I really wanted something that I could see a little bit more close up. There's an image of her studio that I could get. And yeah, having this poster cover is amazing, where I can really get up close to her brush strokes and really be inspired, and from her color palette as well. So I really look forward to reading that. So yeah, do look her up. So painting wise, I have been working on some small pieces again after last week working on those more A3 size pieces. I've gone back to some smalls. You might have noticed I'm doing a lot of smalls, and that's because I am going to do an artist market. I'm joining with a whole group of other local artists and putting on like a Christmas market, if you like, an artist market in December. So if you are in the area and you'd like to come along, it's the 1st of December, so the first Sunday in December from 10 till 3. There'll be a whole gamut of beautiful artisanal work, and my work will be there too. So I thought I would create a whole lot of smaller pieces. They're a little bit more accessible for people price-wise, and they make great gifts as well. So I would love to see you there. Quite a few vlogs ago now, I showed you working in grids and how you can scale that up from a kind of 2 inch by 2 inch or a 3 inch by 3 inch square in your sketchbook, and then you could scale that right up into a big piece. You could grid that off and create one paint as if you're painting one big painting, but then once you take your grid lines off, the painter's tape off, you're left with a whole lot of smaller grids, but much bigger grid than you would ever be able to achieve probably in a sketchbook. And so I was left with a whole lot of little mini abstract pieces. They'd really sat in the corner of the studio and I hadn't done anything else with. And so while I had the colour palette out, the colours that I was using in last week's vlog, I decided I'd go over them. I needed to go over them for a couple of reasons. The colour palette that I'd used doesn't really relate to where I am now. So if I'm presenting work, it's okay to present work that's older, but I wanted to really present something that was, and for me, enjoyable about the colours that I'm enjoying right now. And as you'll see when I show you the footage, I'll show you one coming together about I do enjoy having something to respond to, something already down on the page or the canvas, and that's what these provided. And so I was able to use what I had there as a suggestion of the shape and composition of the landscape, and then I was able to put my current favourite colours over the top and create a whole lot of little pieces. So I'll show you one coming together now. The other thing that's great about doing the minis, they're so quick to do, so you can get, and that's the focus, to get a whole lot of work together for this market. I'm also going to be exhibiting, I've decided these two pieces are finished, and because they're large, I'm going to exhibit those at the Castlemaine Market Building Summer Exhibition. You'll know that I always include some work in that group show, and so I'm going to get on and put some varnish on these and get them ready. If you've watched till the end, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. Please remember, if you like these vlogs, it supports me so much if you'll give it a like or a comment, and subscription is also mostly appreciated. But that's it from me. I hope you have a lovely week, and I shall see you next week. Bye.